What's up, YouTube? This is Big Mike. I never really did a post-game video for Game 2. I did one for the halftime, but not the post-game. So it's been another day. So I'm just going to talk about really what I feel about this series right now. Golden State is up 2-0. Cleveland had their chance to win in Game 1. J.R. Smith fucked that up. Game 2, Golden State just, they just have too many weapons. Stephen Curry set an NBA record with 9 3-point field goals made in an NBA Finals game, breaking the record that was set, I think, back in 2010 by Ray Allen, if I'm not mistaken. There's some criticism to be spread everywhere, okay, when it comes to Cleveland Cavaliers. Number one, I think Cleveland is starting to regress again defensively. And while Stephen Curry is the type of guy who can, of course, be one of those burst players, he and Klay Thompson, one of them is on fire, man. It's almost impossible to beat Golden State, especially considering the fact that they got Kevin Durant. All right, people kind of sometimes I think some people have to consider exactly what Cleveland's going up against. There's really nothing LeBron can do to win this series. Nothing. I don't care if it was Michael Jordan playing for the Cavaliers, Kobe Bryant, even Will Chamberlain, Magic, Larry Bird. I don't see any one of those individual players playing with the group that LeBron's playing around him and winning this series. Golden State just has too many weapons now, especially when you consider the fact that LeBron James no longer has Kyrie Irving. Last year he had Kyrie Irving. They lost 4-1. So it stands to reason that unless Golden State had one of these uncharacteristically bad shooting games, and Cleveland has a good shooting game, I'm starting to really believe that Golden State's going to sweep this team. And there are times when LeBron James, I think, sometimes still falters a little bit. There are certain times when Golden State, there's certain stretches of the game where you have to kind of take control of matters. You know what I mean? Like, when you're playing against Golden State, you have to prevent them from going up, in my opinion. When they go up, when the league gets from 7 to 9, 11, that's when you have to be like, okay, we got to keep ourselves in this ball game. You got to, if I was LeBron James, if I were LeBron James, but LeBron James, he should have that mentality like a Kobe Bryant, like a Michael Jordan. I remember many times when the Lakers were playing opponents and they got down by 9, 10, 11 points, with the Bulls, they were down by 9, 10, 11. Well, shit, really, I remember the Bulls being down by 17, 18, 19 points. They cranked up defensively. They didn't just play passive defense and then hope that they would hit 4 or 5 3-pointers in a row, yakking up threes and think that they're going to get back in the game that way. Because I don't care what anybody says about the 3-point revolution or whatnot. Okay, the league average for 3-point percentage was 36% this past season. 20 years ago, Michael Jordan was playing. Over 20 years ago, Michael Jordan was still playing for the Bulls. The league average 36, 37%. So it hasn't really changed. It's not that the players ever since, really I looked at the numbers. Ever since I would say the mid 1990s, NBA players have not gotten better shooting three-pointers. That's a misnomer. They haven't. That's a lie. And it's a misunderstanding. They just shoot it more. But league average-wise, the three-point shooters do not shoot the shot better. They just shoot more of them. Instead of shooting 14 or 15 a game per team, they're now shooting 29 a game per team. And you have some teams like Houston who take 40 of them. But sometimes you can shoot yourself out the game shooting threes. The Bulls, when it comes to playoffs, in my opinion, defense wins these games. Not yakking up threes. Defense. And that's how the Bulls used to get themselves back into the games. That's how the Lakers used to get themselves back in the game. That's how the Showtime Lakers used to get themselves back in the game. A lot of people always think about the Showtime Lakers and the show and all that, and Magic and the razzle dazzle and all that. But at the heart of the Lakers championship run was their defense. Okay? It's just that in the era that they played in, you had more talent per team, in my opinion, at least. And I think most people's opinion that actually watch basketball. So you really can't stop a team with 3 or 4 Hall of Famers or 2 or 3 All-Stars. They're still going to score 100-some points, but you have to hold them down, you know what I'm saying? But Cleveland, I don't like the way they play. I know it's difficult because you're playing against the Warriors, but I think they need to try to control the pace of the game. Vis-a-vis, that means LeBron. He needs to try to slow the game down as much as possible. The Cavaliers need to try to slow the game down because they're not going to beat Golden State scoring 120-something points. They're not going to do it. They need to try to, in my opinion, they need to try to keep Golden State under 105 points or around 105 points to have a shot at winning. To go over that is kind of difficult, man. And Cleveland is a team that I think they exert more energy trying to score. You look at Golden State on offense, it's so much easier. They have all of these scores. They look at the spacing. Look how many times Kevin Durant has had a wide open dunk driving to the basket in this series because of the spacing. LeBron James, on the other hand, he's pretty much the only guy now that's a penetrator. He don't have Kyrie Irving. That's truly missed. And James is starting to get a little older. And I think also the long duration of the season. Remember, he played all 82 games in the regular season. I think, and then you have this long playoff series, I think it's starting to take a toll on him. And we also have to remember that LeBron James, like Kobe Bryant, came into the NBA right out of high school. So they have more wear and tear on their bodies. Kobe Bryant, if I'm not mistaken, started wearing down when he was about 33 years old. Moses Malone, who came right out of high school to the NBA, he started slowing down when he was about 30. So, although he stayed a 2010, 2011 guy for several more seasons, but it's just that when he was in his prime from 18 to about 29 years old, he was a guy putting up between 25 to 30 points a game, grabbing 12, 13 to 16, 17 rebounds a game. He was a beast. But I think LeBron James is getting to that age where he's going to start slipping a little bit, okay? He's already slipping defensively. So, as these great players, Jordan, Jabbar, Kobe, as they get older, they start to need more help because they can't individually take over a game as often as they once did. I remember watching the Bulls during the early championship run, 90, 91, 91, 92, into 92, 93. And I remember like watching Jordan just dominate guys. I mean, dominate teams, by himself. He could take over a game at will, as opposed to the second incarnation of Jordan with the Bulls. And I remember watching the Bulls and watching Michael, and I was thinking like, Jordan needs some help. He needs help in this game. Okay, he wasn't quite as explosive. He was more perimeter orientated. He couldn't dribble, penetrate, and drive as often as he once did because it took more exertion out on him, as opposed to a guy like Klay Thompson or Stephen Curry who just yak up threes. That doesn't take as much physical exertion. And I remember Jordan needed more help. I put this into perspective. I use this as an example. When the Chicago Bulls beat the Miami Heat in the 1997 Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls beat them 4-1, and there's this perception that the Bulls just dominated Miami Heat, but that's not necessarily so. Especially when you look at the performance of Michael Jordan. The last two games of that series, if memory serves me correctly, in Game 4, which was at Miami, that was the game that the Heat guaranteed they would win. Jordan shot 9 for 35 from the floor, the worst shooting game of his playoff career, pretty much. That and that other game against the Knicks in '93, when he went 2 for 18, I think. Those are the two worst shooting games I've ever seen him have. And in one stretch, Michael missed like his first 14 shots